All righty. So, the class that we're going over today, the name of the class is called You Are What You Learn. Okay? You are what you learn. And it goes into making sure that you protect yourself in this truth when it comes down to learning, because learning is a mechanism of defense. And we're going to go into how that is in the class. And because it's not about just learning any and everything, right? There's a process to learning, and there's a proper process to learn. One of the sayings that I like to use in the world was perfect practice makes perfect. Okay? Because if you're practicing, you might be practicing the wrong thing. So when you're practicing, you might be expert in whatever it is you're practicing, but if you practice in the wrong way, well, you an expert at doing it the wrong way. That don't make no sense, right?
That's right.
That's what we are here to learn in this truth. What is the perfect way to learn? What is the perfect way to build yourself up so trials come, so that when your day is chosen, when it's your day, how to endure during that time, okay? Because the learning that you experience and apply right now is going to be the foundation for the rest of your walk in this truth, okay? So it's not about getting reps in, okay? Not just, oh, yeah, I cracked my Bible open today. I read a couple Psalms. That's what Christians do, right? It's about doing it in the proper fashion. It's not about learning deep mysteries, although that's all well and good, right? We like to learn deep stuff. Hands up if you like to learn the deep stuff. Learn it in its due season, okay? Because we're going to get into that as well. It's not about learning how to do evil, okay? So when you have an opportunity to do good and you got the little devil on your shoulder right here, you got the little angel on your shoulder right here, which side are you going to choose? What you going to do? And it's not about learning false doctrines, okay? Some of us will start off with, good intentions, and then over the course of the years that we experience in these truths, eventually something changes. We start learning and accepting things that we didn't learn. Outside sources are now plaguing our thoughts to trick us into believing something that's not in the scriptures, or that's something that we did not learn. Okay, so this class is about that. This type of learning that we're going to talk about today is the type of learning that is about focused and intentional quality time honing your skills in the Bible and in your walk. Okay, and we're going to see some examples about that, concerning that. Learning is an investment into the future, into your future self. And everything that you do or choose not to do is all about how you shape your future. You are making some little investments, right? Who here got a 401k? Understand? We understand that when it comes to money, but we sometimes don't get it when it comes to our spirit. We, by our learning, are investing, making small investments on who we are going to be in the future. There was a video game back in the day. It's called Fable. Who knows what I'm talking about? Nobody knows about Fable? Dang. I'm a nerd. I'm sorry, y'all. It was a video game that the outcome of your character depended on which way you chose. If you chose to do evil stuff, your character would slowly start to look more evil. It would get dark skin. It would get horns. It would get red eyes. Interesting, right? If you choose to do good, your character would look more like your typical hero, right? It would get nice armor, long flowy hair, things of that nature. So this whole game was based on decisions. Good decisions, bad decisions, righteous decisions, or evil decisions. All of what the outcome of that character ended up being was rooted in the choices and the decisions that they made. And the same thing goes with our learning. Who you end up being in this truth, whether or not you be a soldier, captain, deacon, bishop, all depends on your fundamentals in learning. And especially with this time where this truth is starting to get attacked on a higher level. All right, some of y'all who've been in this truth for a while notice that we're starting to have a lot more public enemies out there, right? Before, we might have a couple, one and maybe two, but now there's starting to be a following because what they're learning is trying to learn how to combat your faith. And that's what that investment goes into as well, learning how to make sure that you don't end up on the wrong side due to your learning or lack thereof, okay? Every time you learn or refuse to learn, you are depositing into your spiritual bank account or you're withdrawing. And sometimes when you see, well, actually all the time, when you see brothers and sisters follow the truth, is because their spiritual bank account is overdrawn. Okay? And the Lord don't do the overdraft fee thing, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You check your account, it's in the negative. They say, now you got to pay $27 to get your bank account back right. Right? We know about that. The Lord don't do overdraft fees. You got to make sure that you are investing in your spiritual bank account day in and day out. So that's what this class is all about. And as we always start, Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. Let's go ahead and get started. I ain't got a whole lot of time, but I got a whole lot of scriptures. So we going to see what it do. Come on.
Bring it out. This is the book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
They were written for our what?
For our learning.
So understand, this entire Bible, every single thing in it was written for our learning. So we can learn good lessons out of the Bible. We can learn some bad lessons out of the Bible, because some people try to make up BS that they read in the scriptures that they do. Like today, multiple wives. Forefathers had multiple wives. Solomon had multiple wives, but it explicitly says that Solomon sinned by those things. When you read in the law, the kings were not supposed to multiply wives unto themselves. That's an evil lesson. But when we see examples like Paul building up the church of Corinth, building up the church of Colossae, building up the church of the Thessalonians, those are positive examples. When we see Christ giving grace to people to repent, allowing people the space to grow in leadership like he did with Peter. These are positive examples. So everything that's written in the Bible is written for our learning. Let's get John chapter 3 and verse 1, starting off with Christ.
This is the book of John chapter 3 and verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews.
So Nicodemus here was a ruler of the Jews, right? Come on.
The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God. For no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him.
So he's saying to Christ, we know you're a teacher, because what you are doing shows that you are a teacher. And I've come here to learn. Come on.
Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God.
So Christ tells him, except you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of heaven. Some of us in here are in the same position. Actually, all of us, but some of us are in different positions when it comes to that. Here's what I mean by that. Some of us spent 20, 30, 40 years in the Christian church, right? We learned a lot about Christianity in the Christian church, but we didn't learn nothing about this Bible. That's part about being born again. That's what all of us need to do. Because when you raise a child up from young, you teach them everything that they need in order to be raised properly when you apply in the scriptures. Read on.
Nicodemus saith unto him,
Come on.
How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
So he was confused. He said, what you mean by that, Christ? Can a man go back up in the birth canal and come back out when he grown? No, he didn't understand what Christ was saying. Come on.
Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God.
So Christ tells him you have to be born of the water, meaning the water of the word. That's what he's talking about, right? And of the Spirit, meaning the spirit of the words of the book. Now, we know that from the precepts, right? That's another class another day. I got more precepts to go to, so we're not going to get it right now. Keep reading, though. Come on.
That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit.
Come on.
Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again.
Don't think about it too hard that I'm saying you got to be born again. Just listen to what I have to say. Come on.
The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is every one that is born of the Spirit.
So he's saying the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but you don't know where it came from. That's everyone that's born of the Spirit. Meaning you can't pick and choose who's going to get the Spirit on them. But that Spirit, once it hits you, guess what? That's going to allow you to be born again. Okay, come on, keep reading.
Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be?
How can this be? He's still confused. Come on.
Jesus answered and said unto him, art thou a master of Israel, and knowest not these things?
So he's telling him, you are a master in Israel, but you still don't understand something like this. Something simple as being retaught, reframing your mind, being reborn. But you are a master in Israel. Get Matthew chapter 18 and verse 1. So I'm going into the understanding that we need to be reborn again, just like a fresh child, right out the womb. So if the moment that you walk through these doors, right, that is your birthday, so to speak, your spiritual birthday, meaning you could have spent 8 years outside this truth, watching classes online, studying, precepting your Bible, whatever the case may be. Your spiritual birth does not begin until you actually start applying God's commandments. Because until that time, all you were doing is spectating, thinking that you know what it's like to come into this truth, but not knowing that all of what you learn, you need to then apply. Okay? So on that spiritual rebirth of yours, when you walk through these doors, that signified the beginning of your actual. So as long as you've been in these doors, that is your spiritual age. My spiritual age would be 8 years old. 8 years old, almost 9. Okay? I'm an 8-year-old in the spirit. Some of us are only a couple months old in the spirit. Some of us are 1, 2. Some of us are more aged than that, right? The bishops, 30 plus years. Some of the bishops been knowing this truth since before some of us was born. That's a heavy thing. So they are full-grown men in the spirit, whereas most of us are still children. Get Matthew 18, verse 1. And with a child, are you going to teach a child trigonometry? No. That's the same thing when we try to pick up the deep things in the Bible. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Matthew 18.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them. And he said, verily I say unto you, except you be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So he said we must need to be converted and become as little children. Because of the age that children are able to learn and understand, children learn way before we really recognize. Children are able to pick up on basic things, basic habits, right? Because the first thing that we teach before we're able to actually teach them with our words is we teach them with our what? Actions. So a lot of people come in here and when they new and they see how we move in this body, and they go, I wonder why sister such and such murmuring and gossiping over there. Uh-oh. I wonder why brother such and such is talking back to the leadership. Why is he doing that? Damn. Some of us set bad examples in this truth. Some of us set good examples. We seeing this brother studying, right? We seen this brother teaching the Bible. We seen this brother everywhere doing the work. We seen the same with the sister. The sister's bread is on fire.
Come on.
Right? We love when the sister got good bread, don't we, brothers? All right? Especially y'all single brothers. Y'all stomach gurgling right now.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. But we need to understand that in order for us to follow the right examples, we need to learn the right examples. Because if we're not learning the right examples, what's going to happen? We're going to follow BS. Is that it on that? Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child,
Come on.
the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
So whoever is going to humble himself as a child would, those are going to be great in the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because they understand that they have to learn, and they have to learn the right way. Get Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Because this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. It's not about just getting reps in. It's about getting the proper reps in. You got that?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
So we always use this for our kids, right? But remember, spiritually, we are children. So we should be training up ourselves in the way that we should go, right? And the way that we do that is by relying on our spiritual fathers, our spiritual big brothers in this truth that are able to guide us. Read it again.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
And
when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And when we continue to go in the way that we know is right because we've been taught correctly, when we have age in this truth, we won't depart away. We're going to talk about that again later, so just keep this stuff in mind. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and verse 12.
Come on.
For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
It says, when it's your time to learn how to teach, remember, you have to learn the first principles of the oracles of God. What's another word for that? What's another word for the first principles? Huh? That's a question, y'all. What's another word for the first principles? I need another word. It's a synonym. First principles. If I need to learn the first principles in baseball, what am I learning? Uh-oh. Come on, my man in the back. Marquell.
Shalom, leadership.
Shalom.
Rules.
Okay, the rules. Okay, all right. I think I heard somebody say it. Elijah. Let's see.
The fundamentals.
The fundamentals. Right? I'm not going to take nobody on the basketball court and say, all right, start shooting threes. Am I? No. You're not going to do that. We understand that carnally, but a lot of us don't understand that spiritually. Some brothers come in and they want to ask deep, deep, deep questions. Bruh. Did Adam have a belly button? Did he? What's the 12 feathers all about? Can you break down Revelation for me? But understand, those things are okay to know eventually. But when you first coming in, what's the point? So you could be deep? So you could impress your friends at the bars or whatever, your family members, right? Because you're not doing anything productive with that wisdom. That's not something you can apply. That's not even something you're going to be asked about when you get judged. Hey, real quick. Give me the spiritual meaning behind the story of Job.
What?
Huh? You're going to be asked, how well have you been keeping my commandments? Okay, we're going to be getting that. Get, where am I at? Get Hebrews 5:12. Come on, read that again.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again.
Come on.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
The fundamentals of the oracles of God, the words of God. Come on.
And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
You need to get fed with the milk and not strong meat. Come on.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe.
For everybody that uses milk is unskilled. You got to think about it. When a child is on the milk, what skills do they have? They got zero skills. They can't keep their neck up. They can't walk. They can't talk. They can't use the bathroom by themselves. Spiritually, it's the same with us. We spiritually don't know how to walk properly, talk properly, use our knowledge in the proper fashion. But if we're patient and if we're consistent, we will learn that thing. Okay? Keep reading.
But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
To have their their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. That comes with time. That comes with practice. That comes with consistency in the basics. Okay? I'm going to use another carnal example. One of the dynasties of basketball is the San Antonio Spurs, right? How many of you know what I'm talking about? All right? Coached by his favorite coach of all time, Greg Popovich. Hey, Greg Popovich was all about the fundamentals, right? That's what they called their big three. It wasn't the big three in San Antonio. It was the big fundamentals, right? Y'all remember this. They didn't shoot threes like that. They played old school traditional basketball, and they was kicking butt. We understand that carnally. I'm going to keep saying it. We understand that carnally. In the spirit, some of us don't get that yet. Get Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. But hopefully this class will help kind of drive the point home. Lord's will. Proverbs 4 and 7.
The book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7.
Come on.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
You see that? So we need to make sure that with everything in us, that we try to get understanding. Okay? Because that's what our forefathers had. Let's get that. Sirach chapter 44 and verse 1. Our forefathers had plenty of wisdom to speak on. Plenty of it. They had something to pass around to give to you and I. That's why we are reading about them for our learning. Sirach chapter 44 and verse 1.
The book of Sirach chapter 44 and verse 1.
Come on.
Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. The Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding,
Read.
and declaring prophecies.
Come on.
Leaders of the people by their counsels.
Come on.
And by their knowledge of learning.
And by their what?
Knowledge of learning.
By their knowledge of learning, read.
Meat for the people.
Good for the people. So remember, brothers, and we're going to get this a little later, but your knowledge that you are learning is not just for you. It's not something for you to keep back and hold on to yourself, even though it is precious, and that's what you would do with precious treasure. This treasure is the type that we give away freely. Why? Because if we don't do that, guess what's going to happen? We're never getting the kingdom. But we already know that it's written, so we need to do what's written. We need to apply what's in the book to be able to get to where we know we're going. Y'all understand this? Read it again, verse 4.
Verse 4, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent in their instructions.
Wise and eloquent in their instructions. All right, so let's get some examples of our forefathers that had some wisdom. 1 Kings chapter 4 and verse 29. We're going to talk about King Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived. Come on. 1 Kings 4.
This
29.
is the book of 1 Kings chapter 4 and verse 29. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore.
Come on.
And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt.
So The wisdom that we get from our forefathers, remember, because they got it from who? Man, who'd they get it from? They got it from the Lord. One brother know, hey, one brother might have wisdom up in here. Okay? He said that wisdom that Solomon received from the Lord exceeded the wisdom of everybody else. So understand, when we looking into this wisdom, think about how amazing that is. That the wisdom that we are learning from our forefathers exceeds all the wisdom of every other nation on earth because we get it directly from the Lord. And from him it trickles down to our forefathers and so on and so forth. Keep reading.
For he was wiser than all men.
He was wiser than all men. Come on.
Then Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Calcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahal.
So these were considered to be wise men. He said, he more wise than all of that. Come on.
And his fame was in all nations round about.
And his fame was in all nations round about. Come on.
And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005.
And he put all his wisdom into these proverbs and into these songs for us to glean learning from. Let's get another example of Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon. Get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 17. We're going to go here. This is Solomon speaking directly. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17.
Come on.
For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements.
So he said he knew how the world was made and the operations of the elements. That's called chemistry. Keep on reading. Come on.
The beginning, ending, and midst of time.
That's called the Middle Ages, the midst of the times. Come on.
The alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons.
Meteorology. Come on.
The circuits of years and the positions of stars.
Astronomy. Read.
The natures of living creatures.
Zoology.
And the furies of wild beasts.
Uh-huh.
The violence of winds and the reasonings of men.
Psychology. Come on.
The diversities of plants.
Botany.
And the virtues of roots.
Herbology. Read.
And all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know.
You see all that? That's like having a degree, a PhD in all of this. So who you know on the earth now got a PhD in chemistry, meteorology, zoology, astronomy, psychology, botany, and herbology? Who got that? Solomon had that. That's who we learn from when we read these scriptures and we apply the things that's written therein. Read verse 22.
Verse 22, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me.
Wisdom taught him. Come on. And we know that wisdom is Christ. Come on.
For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain.
You see that? It says wisdom is clear, undefiled, plain. Come on.
Not subject to hurt.
Uh-huh.
Loving the thing that is good.
That is good, which is loving the commandments and keeping God's commandments. Come on.
Quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good.
Uh-huh.
Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits.
All right, so that is wisdom. That is wisdom. So give me Deuteronomy chapter 34 and verse 9. Let's read about another one of our forefathers that had wisdom of learning. Deuteronomy chapter 34 and verse 9.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him.
Because he received the spirit of Moses. Come on.
And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Lord commanded
So
Moses.
we see that Moses gave his spirit to Joshua, who had the spirit of wisdom just like Moses. Let's see another example. Psalm chapter 105 and verse 17.
Book of Psalms, chapter 105, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant,
Come on.
whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron.
Because he went into captivity in Egypt. Come on.
Until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him.
Uh-huh.
The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free.
Come on.
He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure, and to teach his senators wisdom.
And to teach his senators wisdom, because the wisdom of our forefathers exceeded the wisdom of the so-called wisdom, I'll say, of the other nations. Come on.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land.
That's it. I'm so sorry. Let's go on to the next example. Give me Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 26.
Bring it out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 26.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
She openeth her mouth with wisdom.
Wait, so this talking about women too. So what that mean? That mean women got wisdom too.
Come on.
Go on, brush your shoulders off. Okay? Those of y'all who got it. Read it again.
She openeth her mouth with wisdom,
Uh-huh.
and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
So women are able to have wisdom as well. Let's see some examples of that. Give me 2 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 16. Let's see an example of a woman that displayed her wisdom. In case y'all didn't know, we come from a wise people, not just the men, but the women's too. Come on.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 20 and verse 16.
All right, so real quick, before he reads that, I want to set the stage. So there is a Negro by the name of Sheba who was trying to rebel against the kingdom. Okay, now let's go to verse 16. Read.
Verse 16.
Mhm.
Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear, say, I pray you unto Joab, come near hither, that I may speak with thee.
So she's trying to save the city because David sent Joab to go murk everybody that was on the side of Sheba, the son of Bichri. Okay, and who had to save him? It was a woman. A woman had to come and use her wisdom to save the city. Come on.
And when he was come near unto her, the woman said, Art thou Joab? And he answered, I am he. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of thine handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. Then she spake, saying, They were wont to speak in old time, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Abel. And so they ended the matter.
Come on.
I am one of them that are peaceful and faithful in Israel.
So she said, we ain't on that guy's side. I'm part of the crew that's peaceable and faithful in Israel. Come on.
Thou seekest to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord?
So she's saying, you looking to destroy us all. Can you chill a little bit, please? Come on.
And Joab answered and said, Far be it from me, that I should swallow up or destroy.
Come on.
The matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, have lifted up his hand against the king, even against David.
So Joab came to squash the rebellion. And he said, you Ephraimites here, and there one Ephraimite by the name of Sheba, the son of Bichri. He lifted up his hand against the king. Come on. Deliver him only.
Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over the wall.
So she said, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Come on.
Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom.
Then, not only did she speak to Joab of wisdom, she came to the other people in the city in her wisdom and did what?
And they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri.
And she said, we got to cut this Negro head off. That was a wise decision. Come on.
And cast it to Joab. And he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent, and Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king.
So they returned and did not destroy the city because of the actions of a wise woman. Get Judith chapter 8 and verse 28.
Bring it out.
Because sometimes, they be telling us that you guys don't respect the women and blah, blah, blah. But we respect our women when they wise, right? Bring it out, okay? Judith chapter 8, verse 20. Let's see about another wise woman. One of my favorite, personally. Good old Judith. What'd she do?
This is the book of Judith, chapter 8 and verse 28.
Come on.
Then said Ozias to her, all that thou hast thou spoken with a good heart, and there is none that can gainsay thy words.
So not only is what she was saying good, but they said, we can't even come against it, what you saying. That's how wise Judith was. Read.
For this is not the first day wherein thy wisdom is manifested.
Wait a minute. So not only that, but Judith was wise, and she had a reputation for being wise, ladies. All praises to the Most High. So how did she get that? Because she learned the proper things to build her up in the spirit. Just like we all need. Read that again. For this is not
the first day wherein thy wisdom is manifested. But from the beginning of thy days, all the people have known thy understanding, because the disposition of thine heart is good.
So I want to play 2 videos for y'all just to kind of see and illustrate the point a little bit. I want to get 2 quick videos. All right. The first one is about the fundamentals of learning. And then the second one deals with what happens when you really don't have those fundamentals. Play it.
Well, hello there, peeps. Now that we got back from some sort of vacation, whether it was a vacation or a meditation or relaxation, it's time to move on with our education. And of course, there is no better time to go back to fundamentals. Fundamentals are so important in our daily practice. And here are few reasons why I believe they are so crucial. Fundamentals are the basic building blocks upon which advanced skills are developed.
Pause. It says fundamentals are the foundation on which advanced skills are developed. Meaning what? You can't do the advanced stuff until you learn how to get the basics down. So if y'all come to us with deep questions, what we supposed to do? We supposed to redirect you to what? The basics. The basics. All right? Come on. The fundamentals.
Difficult to progress or excel in any area. Consistency. Practicing fundamentals consistently helps in developing muscle memory. Safety.
All right. It says the second part is consistency. Because if you consistently practice the same thing repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again, guess what's going to happen? You're going to do most of what you do unconsciously. You're not going to have to think about, okay, what am I doing on Saturday? Huh? What are we all going to be doing on Saturday? We're supposed to be right here, right? You not going to want to order the Baconator at Wendy's, right? Because consciously, you already know you're supposed to be staying away from that. When we practice these things on a repeat, consistent basis, it becomes muscle memory. We don't even think about doing some of the stuff that we used to, right? Some of y'all used to wake up in the morning and do this, right? That used to be muscle memory for some of us. Who am I lying? Y'all shaking y'all head, some of y'all. Y'all still got perfect technique and everything. Y'all still,
Bruh.
y'all know how to do that still. But because y'all are practicing righteousness now, eventually those things will leave, okay? It's not like riding a bike. All right, come on. What's the third part?
It prevents accidents and injuries. Efficiency. In most cases, following some fundamental principles is the most efficient way in achieving a goal.
All right, pause. So it said, go back a little bit. Go back a little bit. I want to highlight that point one more time.
Most efficient way.
Efficiency. Come on.
Achieving the goal. Longevity.
Pause.
By focus.
So it said efficiency, meaning a lot of what we learn in here in terms of the basics, like the basic precept sheet, right? The 200 milk questions. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Who does not know what I'm talking about? Okay, we got one brother. That's a problem. Who your officer? Uh-oh, we got to talk to that brother after this. Okay? But in all seriousness, it's said that when you have that, it's efficient. Why? Because a lot of the doctrines that we come across, guess what they could be broken down with? The basics. It's efficient. It's a way to get you, all right, boom. You saying this? All right, bam. I already got something for that off the basics. Then you can expound upon certain things. Sometimes new understanding comes out, or you read something over where you're like, dang, I can use that too. I can use this too. But you're building on what? The building blocks of the fundamentals. Okay? Number 5, longevity. It's a good one too. Push it back just a little bit so we can get to number 5.
Achieving the goal, longevity, by focusing on proper techniques and fundamentals, can reduce the risk of burnout or injury on long term that can occur into rushing into advanced practice.
Pause.
Confident.
So longevity, right? Let's say y'all getting out the spirit for some reason. What those basics are designed to do through the wisdom of the Lord that our bishops and our deacons have crafted for us is help us to endure in this truth. That's what the basics are going to do. Because the deep stuff not going to keep you around. You feel like once you deep, you could be deep anywhere, right? But it's the basics. It's having that basic ability, which we're going to get into in the next video, that's going to cause staying power in this truth. Read or play.
Knowing that you have a good grasp on fundamentals can easily boost your confidence level. In summary,
so not only does it do the rest of those things, but it also builds confidence. Knowing that what we're learning is giving us a good base in terms of understanding what the Bible is about. Because I guarantee you, if we were to ask for any Christian to explain what the Bible is about in one sentence, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. But it's a very fundamental thing. Or even to say, who was the Bible written to? Give me one basic thing about the Bible. Who was it written to? They'd be like, well, I don't know. They have no confidence in what they're learning. We asked them what they learned during service on Sunday. Well, I learned Jesus wept. That's what they learned. They learned how to dance, shuck and jive, and say, Mama say, Mama sa, Mama. That's it. That's what they learned. But here, because we have the fundamentals, all praise to the Most High, that's what we're focused on, trying to make sure that all of us learn and understand. Let's go to the next video. All right.
Just a fleshed out library that anyone who with zero experience in 3D can just go ahead and get started, and within a day get a pretty darn good looking render.
So he's talking about learning how to do 3D. Okay, I don't want the point to be lost. He's talking about learning how to do 3D rendering. Okay, so those of you video game players out here, that's how video games are made, through 3D renders. Okay, read on though, play on.
It's crazy to me. It's completely fascinating. But of course, that doesn't compensate for a lack of fundamental understanding of 3D, right? I think that's kind of, we're getting to the point where a lot of people don't really, you can tell right away when someone doesn't really know 3D that well. Just because at the moment, this is actually something I've noticed with my students, is you'll notice right away where the moment they have any kind of hurdle, whether you need to change the UVs or there's a mesh normals issue, they're stumped. They have no idea what's going on. And so things are easier, but you still need to have a solid understanding of 3D to use to get into the real-time world, I think.
Okay, all right. I love that he used that example. Here's why. Because the truth is more accessible than it's ever been, right? You can go on any platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and find a class, find a quick reel to get some sort of information about the truth. We got radio shows 24/7. You got Clubhouse. You can go almost anywhere and learn something about the Bible, right? But because there's no curriculum set up, really, right? Aside from what we give you in here, the beginner's packet and stuff like that. But we don't make sure you're on task with that, right? We try our best. But nobody's sitting over there like, have you turned in your basic precept assignment today? Nobody does that, right? Because the truth is so accessible, a lot of people jump up and think that they know the Bible. It's the same thing that he was talking about with 3D. But then when you have a basic problem that pops up, you got a Matthew 18 somebody offended you. Oh, snap, where's the Bible at now? People don't understand, right? Some of us in here, some of us with rank have, when Matthew 18 situation apply, have not even thought to use Matthew 18. That is a disregard of fundamentals. When you have any sort of issue or problem that can be solved biblically, a lot of times those that are not learned well, it shows up during their trials. So just like the brother was talking about, when a rudimentary problem pops up with the 3D, with your spirit, with trials in the congregation, either personally or maritally or amongst us in here, people have no idea how to apply the scriptures, even though there's a million classes online about it. But because you were focused on the wrong thing, guess what? Are not applying the necessary, vital portions of the scriptures to be able to help build you. All right? So that is the reason why fundamental learning is so important. So what do we learn? Let's find out. We're going to start off first with what we should not learn. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1. We're going to start there. We're going to read a little bit. Read quickly for me if you can, sir. Quickly with the spirit on you. Come on.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2 and verse 1. I said in mine heart, go to now, I will prove thee with mirth.
He said, I will prove thee with mirth, with joy. That's what Solomon is saying here. Come on.
Therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, this also is vanity.
So he's saying, enjoy pleasure, live it up. That's vanity. So we shouldn't be here to learn how to party all night, party all the time, right? We shouldn't be here to learn how to just do the things that we want to do, but the things that we need to do. Come on.
I said of laughter, it is mad, and of mirth, what doeth it?
This is him after the fact. Come on.
I sought in mine heart to give myself unto wine.
So we shouldn't be in here getting too turned up off the wine, off the strong drink. Come on.
Yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom.
But at the same time, you still got the Bible open. That's like when I first came into the truth. I'm going to tell y'all a little story about me. When I first came into the truth, what was I doing while I was reading the Bible? Who knows? Who can take a guess? I was smoking. Every single. I would smoke and be looking in front of the TV. I'd be listening to Bishop, Deacon Athan, and I go, woo, this is good stuff right here. This too, but that's good too. That's foolishness. Y'all understand that, right? What? But I didn't know no better. I'm over here knowing or learning about the truth, but I'm not really, understanding where I need to be at in terms of righteousness yet. Okay? I'll never forget class I watched it about 5 or 6 times. It's called The Israelites Will Never Be Debunked by Deacon Athan. That's an old school class, okay? I love that class. I watched that thing so many times because I was just so fascinated by that thing, but I was doing it high. That's the same sort of thing Solomon was doing right here. Read it again.
I sought in mine heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom.
Come on.
And to lay hold on folly.
And to lay hold on folly. This is what Solomon was doing. Come on.
Till I might see what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life.
So he sought to experience all type of things, good and evil, to see what was good for men all the days of their life. Come on.
I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kind of fruits. I made me pools of water to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in my house. also had great possessions of great and small cattle,
Uh-huh.
above all that were in Jerusalem before me.
So he got to experience all of this stuff, experience riches, abundance, wealth, prosperity. Come on.
I gathered me also silver and gold, and a peculiar treasure of kings and of the provinces. I got me men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons of men, as musical instruments, and that of all
He
sorts.
said, I got me all of that. Come on.
So was I great, and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with
So
me,
he said the wisdom that the Lord gave him remained with him. Come on.
and whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them.
He said, anything I saw that I wanted, I had it. Come on.
I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor.
And this was my portion of all my labor. So he said, for all the good that I can do, all my wisdom, I'm going to rejoice in that thing while I have the opportunity. Come on.
Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun.
So what is Solomon saying right here? He's saying all of what we can experience, we shouldn't experience. All wisdom ain't good wisdom. Understand? So we need to make sure we're learning the proper wisdom up in here. Come on.
And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly.
So he said he learned wisdom, but also madness and folly. He learned everything that there was possible to learn. And again, not all of it was profitable to him. Come on.
For what can the man do that cometh after the king?
So now he's asking, what is the man going to do that cometh after the king? He's talking about his son. Because as we're going to see later on in the class, his son was a fool. Come on.
Even that which have been already done.
Come on.
Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly.
It says wisdom excels folly, meaning it's greater than, better than folly.
That's
Come
right.
on.
As far as light excelleth darkness.
Meaning how, just like how if you're in a dark room, you turn the light on, what's going to predominate is going to be that light. You understand? The darkness cannot abide where the light is. Same thing where wisdom should not be where folly is. Wisdom is going to drive folly out the same way that light will drive out darkness. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
All right, now let's get Acts chapter 17 and verse 17. Let's get another bad example about how all wisdom ain't good wisdom.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 17. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews, and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him.
This is Paul talking to the Jews that disputed with him about what? Christ. Come on.
Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics.
So our people have always had a desire for like deep stuff, right? These would be your Egyptologists of today. These would be your Kemetic community brothers of today. The brothers that have a lot of so-called good wisdom. Your, what's his name? Dr. Umar Johnson. Your Polites. Those types. Your Mark Lamont Hills. Those types. Them of today, come on.
encountered him. And some said, what will this babbler say?
What will this babbler say? Come on.
Others some, he seemeth to be a setter forth a strange God.
He seemed like he teaching a strange God. Come on.
Because he preached unto them Jesus in the resurrection.
He preached unto them Jesus and the resurrection. Come on.
And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is. For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know, therefore, what these things mean.
So they're hearing what Paul has to say. We're like, oh, I'm curious. What are you teaching here? And we're going to find out in the next verse. Why did they want to know that? Come on.
For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but to either tell or to hear some new thing.
So they had itching ears. They wanted to tell about something new that they had heard or hear something that they had never heard before. They were not trying to get reborn in the spirit like Christ said at the beginning of the lesson. What were they trying to do? They were trying to intermeddle with all wisdom like King Solomon said that he was doing. So because of that, Paul, what he was preaching in terms of Christ was strange to him, to them. Come on.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious.
You are too superstitious. Read.
For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you.
You see that? And in all of their so-called wisdom, in all of their so-called understanding, and all their so-called excellence of speech, they still had no idea who the Most High was. And Paul said, you are too superstitious by doing that. So when we want to try and dabble in all this other deep stuff, when we're trying to be over here and over there, but you can't tell me what the precept for sin is, it's no good. It's no good. You are too superstitious. You're too busy jumping around trying to deal with the wrong stuff. If you can't tell me how to deal with your wife when she out the spirit, but you've been with us for some years, you are not dealing with the proper things in the law. If you don't know how to win your brother or sister over when they offend you, you are not being built up in the spirit correctly. Let's continue. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. So we're going into what do we need to learn? What should we learn? Instead of dealing with all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding, I don't want to be deep. I want to be sincere. 1 Peter.
Book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word.
And in our sincerity, we should desire the sincere milk of the word, the basics. Come on, the fundamentals.
That ye may grow thereby.
And you see, milk, because it's so basic, right, to build up a child, the same thing is true with our spirits. The milk of the word is going to help us grow. Not the meat.
That's right.
Because we're not ready for that yet. Most of us in here. What's going to help us is the milk. What's going to get us to be of full age in this truth, to have longevity, staying power, confidence in this word, is going to be us learning the basics. And the basics alone. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 12.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
I hear some babies in the back. They want some milk too. All praises. All praises.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 12. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear.
That they may hear. So keep in mind, it says gather the people, the men, women, and children, that they may what?
That they may hear. And that they may learn.
And that they may learn. What are they learning? Come on.
And fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law.
So what they're learning, what Moses is commanding for them to learn, is the fear of God and the commandments of God. That's what we need. Fear and commandments. Come on.
And that their children, which have not known anything.
So in order for you to learn, it's for a purpose, so that their children, which have not yet known anything, why? Because they are not around yet. Come on.
May hear and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as ye live in the land whither ye go over Jordan to possess it.
Oh, the purpose of learning these things, the fear of God and the commandments of God, which are what? The fundamentals, is so that we can go in and possess the land. Give me Psalm chapter 119 and verse 7. Psalm chapter 119 and verse 7. So emphasis, we've been talking around it, we've been dancing around it this whole time, but what that goes into, those basics, those fundamentals in this truth, is the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the fear of the Most High God. Come on.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 7. I will praise thee with uprightness. of heart.
It says, I will praise thee with uprightness of heart. Read.
When I shall have learned thy righteous judgments.
You see that? That's how you're able to praise God with an upright, by learning his judgments. Get verse 104.
Verse 104.
Come on.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
Through the precepts, the laws of God, we get understanding. Come on.
Therefore I hate every false way.
And we learn those things, guess what? We hate anything but that. We hate, like, I don't know about y'all, but when I hear these so-called Christians coming against the doctrine, when I hear these BHIs coming up with some new BS doctrine or remixing the doctrine, I get upset. I be mad because I see attack on not only my faith, but some of y'all up in here, because some of y'all are not studying correctly. I'm just going to keep it honest. That's why some of us have not been here tabernacle to tabernacle, Passover to Passover, year to year. We look at pictures. Every year we can see a picture of a brother or sister that has not endured. And it's because they're not studying and learning the basics.
That's right.
And applying the basics. But a lot of them get their faith attacked and they don't know what to do because they haven't been studying. Like when I was relatively new in the truth, there was a doctrine that got pushed out that now the Sabbath begins at sunrise. Not that the Sabbath is from sundown to sundown like the Bible says and like we've been taught. But that, okay, when the sun goes up, boom, now the Sabbath is in. Wait a minute.
What?
The Bible don't say that. Where does that come from? But what I was able to do was rest on what? The learning that I had been taught by my elders, right? Yeah. And what a lot of people did was that they ran out of here with no understanding, thinking that was, it's like a squirrel, right? You seeing something new, like the Epicureans and the Stoics. Oh, let me go listen to something new. Now you running out the door, but somebody was honest and said, I believe in the sunrise Sabbath. Somebody said, I'm offended. I don't feel the love in IUIC.
Oh, my God.
So whatever the case may have been, they took those doctrines and them because they wasn't studying, and now they gone. Now they bugged out. Most of them not even keeping the commandments no more. That's how you know it was a spirit. But that's how you know they wasn't taught, or I would say taught. That's how you know they wasn't applying their learning correctly. That's what this class is for. Get Sirach chapter 37 and verse 19.
Bring it out.
And don't just be learning for learning's sake. Don't just be learning so that, you know, when you ask the precept, you get accolades from men up here and go, hey, that brother been studying, all praises. Because I tell you what, before I really understood what I'm teaching y'all right now, what I would do is study what? Precepts. Precepts are good, but we need to make sure we are actually reading the Bible. Because if only we ever study precepts, we're not going to truly learn what the Bible is about. We're just going to have precepts. Okay? Y'all understand the difference? Come on.
Sirach chapter 37 and verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many.
So we've seen this example repeatedly over and over and over again. There are people that will sit up in the congregation and teach you all kind of stuff. But then you find out, read on.
And yet is unprofitable to himself.
Despite the wisdom that they profess to have, they are not able to apply the same wisdom that they will give unto the men and women up in here. You turn around and now, I'm sleeping with my coworker.
Bruh.
I slipped and fell in it. You understand? That is evil as hell. And all the while they pretended like they knew what they was doing, right?
The hell is
now
this?
you find out they smacking their wife around behind the closed doors, right? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. They're learning, but they're not applying what they learn. All right? So how? We got what to learn, right? What we learning? Fear and commandments, right? So how do we learn that thing? Give me John chapter 5 and verse 39.
Bring it out.
We learning about fear and commandments. So how do we do that? Come on.
This is the book of John chapter 5 and verse 39.
Uh-huh.
Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life.
So it says, search the scriptures. We got to search the scriptures. Why? Because it says what? Read it again.
Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life.
The keys to getting the kingdom, eternal life, is contained within these scriptures. And if you believe that, you're going to search these scriptures. Not so you can be deep. It's so you can get the kingdom. Understand? That's the eternal life that you're going to be able to get by searching the scriptures. Read.
And they are they which testify of me.
These scriptures are that which testify of Christ, because Christ has always been all up and through this Bible. Lo, I come in the volume of the book. Acts chapter 17 and verse 11, dealing with that searching of the scriptures. So some of y'all say, well, yeah, I searched the scriptures. I got Google on my phone. That's not what we're talking about. Some of y'all only search the scriptures on Saturday. Y'all come in here, you open up your Bible and you go, you blow the dust off it because it's been sitting up on the shelf all week.
Damn!
I'll tell a story. You want to hear it? Here you go. There was a brother who left his Bible. This was one day after a radio show in Orlando, Lions Den. Okay? There was a brother who left his Bible in the school after the radio show. Men's conference was the next week. It was like that following Thursday. He gets to men's conference. He didn't realize he didn't have his Bible until somebody called for a scripture at men's conference. What do you think that brother was doing? He wasn't studying. He didn't care about his Bible. He wanted to show that to us, he might look like he in the spirit. Oh, yeah, look, I got my Bible right here. It's right here. Look at how loaded it is. It's worn out and everything. Because he had it for a while. But guess what? You could tell just by that example, by that one example, that brother wasn't studying. That brother not applying the scriptures. Right? That's the type of thing that we don't want to do. So how often should we search the scriptures? Read that.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind.
So not only did they receive the word with all readiness of mind, but
and search the scriptures daily.
How often?
Search the scriptures daily.
How often?
Search the scriptures daily.
Some of us refuse to do that up in here. You know what we'd rather do? We'd rather be on the game playing 2K. That's what we'd rather be doing.
Bruh.
Some of us rather be on the job, working 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs when we don't need to, instead of being in the Bible daily.
What?
Some of us, we listen to podcasts, other radio shows. Some of us listen to nasty music. Some of us do whatever the hell else we want to do aside from crack open this Bible. Anything. Some of y'all, because you might be trying to be so focused on trying to act righteous, you might be trying to sew fringes all week. Oh, I'm going to sew my fringes. Not listen to a single class. Not open up the Bible. I'm just going to sew fringes. I'm going to show off my fringes at the Sabbath. Look how good these fringes look, girl. Right? Some of y'all been practicing a bread recipe all week, but no damn scripture's been open.
Damn!
Bible say you're not supposed to do that. Read it again.
These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so.
And we do it so that we can confirm our faith. Based on what we reading, am I understanding this? Am I reading this right? Am I doing this right? Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7. So we got to search the scriptures daily. Daily. Crack open the Bible at least once. I tell the officers, right? By the time they make it to be in the officer of 10 up in here, they should be on the path to doing something for the truth daily. Because if you're doing something for the truth, you're going to have to crack open the Bible. Have to. Whether that's editing a camp video, all right. This brother called whatever precept. Let me see. Well, that's a good precept. I'm going to follow along, right? Whatever the case may be, you're always going to find a way to crack open the Bible when you're doing the work of the Lord. It just comes with that, right?
That's
Come on.
right.
Wisdom of Solomon 7:7. My fault.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 7.
So what comes with the reading? What else? Come on.
Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me.
So we have to also pray to go along with that. Pray for the Lord for a spirit of understanding, and the action of reading to get that understanding goes along with it. They're coupled. They're married
That's
to each
right.
other. They're like PB and jelly. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
I called upon God, and the spirit of wisdom came to me.
And the spirit of wisdom came through what? Through reading. Okay? It don't work like they try to act like it does in the Christian church where I'm praying and all of a sudden I got all wisdom. Right. It came into my spirit. Now I know everything about the Bible. It's not how that works. We gotta read, crack open the book. Get Sirach 8 and 8. So along with that studying, you gotta pray. Got to pray. Okay? Don't pray for no BS either. Goodness gracious. Y'all praying for a Lamborghini and stuff. A mansion. Pray for wisdom. Pray for understanding. Pray for endurance in this truth. Pray that the Lord retains his spirit within you and that he doesn't take it away. Pray that you can endure through whatever
That's
trials
right.
that's coming your way, because they're coming. They're on the way. Read.
This is the book of Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 8. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
And seek out wisdom from those above you. Right? That's why when I asked who had questions up in here, the only person with a question was a woman. Yikes. No good.
The hell is
Right?
this?
That means y'all not seeking the wisdom of those above y'all. Read it again.
Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction.
Of them you shall learn instruction. Come on.
And how to serve great men with ease.
And how to serve great men with ease. That is not something that you just given. That's a skill. That's a learned behavior that we can hone through being around the men that's over us. Read.
Miss not the discourse of the elders.
Don't miss the discourse of the elders. Some of y'all know when we in Atlanta, even if I bring my wife to Atlanta, where I'm going to be, wife? I'm going to be with the bishops. And she know that.
That's right.
She can have the hardest day. The kids could be giving her a fit. I kiss on the forehead. I say, I see you later. I see you later. Deal with them kids. Take them to Disney World or something. I don't care. I'm going to be with the bishop. Read it again.
Miss not the discourse of the elders.
Because when I can't get in the room, when it's a million captains in Atlanta, I be upset. I be like, dang, I can't get in there today. It's about 50 captains here in Atlanta. I came on the wrong Sabbath. I didn't, right? Because there's still mighty men in the building, but I be upset when I can't get in that room. Read.
For they also learned of their fathers.
Because Bishop has told us, what did he do with around the elders? He said he sat down, he was right at their feet, and he shut up and said like this. Yes, sir. Come on.
And of them thou shalt learn understanding.
And being in those rooms and those spaces amongst those men, you're going to get some understanding. Guaranteed. Whether you like it or not, you're going to get some understanding. Come on.
That's right.
And to give answer as need requires.
And you're going to learn when to open your mouth and when to be quiet. You're going to learn how to move with wisdom in those spaces. And I love it. I love it. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 1. So you need to be reading, studying, looking into the scriptures daily, pray, acquaint yourself with the elders and their proverbs. Come on.
Book of Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding.
Come on.
Yea, if thou criest after knowledge.
This goes back to what we read earlier in Wisdom of Solomon. If we cry after knowledge, come on.
And liftest up thy voice for understanding. If thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasure.
If you got told that you had a mine, a silver mine in your backyard, what would you do the next day? You would go and get the shovel. Quick. If you ain't have a shovel, you use your fingers. You be in there, where's that silver at? But we don't do that with the Bible. We don't look at it like that. That it's a treasure. It's a treasure of the mind. Come on. And of the spirit. Come on.
Then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God.
You see how that come back around to the fear of the Lord and the knowledge of God. Seek after it. Pray for that thing. Give me James chapter 1 and verse 5. There's a whole lot of wisdom to be given out here. All right? The wisdom ain't just for one or two people. God got enough wisdom for everybody. He got an unlimited spiritual bank account of wisdom and learning. Come on.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally.
He said he give it to all men liberally. Read.
And upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
Just like Solomon did. He prayed for wisdom, and it was given unto him. Give me Sirach chapter 1 and verse 26. How is that wisdom given? Come on.
Book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments.
You see that? Keeping the commandments is a hallmark of being able to attain wisdom. To make sure that you learning properly. That goes back to what? The fundamentals. Come on.
And the Lord shall give her unto thee.
Let me get Sirach 6 and 32. Sirach chapter 6 and verse 32. We got to speed it on up. I got still a lot of scriptures and not a lot of time. All right, come on.
Book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 32.
My
son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
So what comes with learning is a willingness to be taught, right? We can't teach a hard head up in here. We're not going to force feed y'all the scriptures. Meaning, if you want to get taught, you're going to come ask for that. You're going to be at the feet of the elders when the scriptures is coming out.
Right.
You're going to want to gain understanding. If you have a gap in your wisdom, you're going to want to fill in that gap. Come on.
And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
Come on.
If thou love to hear.
If you love to hear, not like love, right? Some of y'all had girlfriends back in the world. You like, I ain't really love you like that. I like you. I don't really love you. Damn. I don't want to marry you. Come on. You should want to marry wisdom. Come on.
Thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise.
Read.
Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise.
Whoever you view as having wisdom, cleave unto this man, because 9 times out of 10, what's happening? Those men learn the basics, and they're going to be able to help you learn the same. Come on.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Every single godly discourse. All right? Because we get enough of the other type of discourse at the job, right? We hear about all kind of BS that we don't want to hear about. The last time was Thanksgiving. People was talking about what they was cooking. What you making? Somebody came ask me at the job, what you cooking for Thanksgiving? I said, a whole lot of nothing. Nothing. I'm not cooking nothing. I don't celebrate that wicked holiday. I was mad as hell. Because every time I got to explain this, I'll just be like, you people just don't get it. And then you give them the excuse.
Oh my God, Jesus.
You give them the thank you, Hati. You give them the excuse, I got Indian in my family. And then some of them still don't get it. That'd be the worst. I'll be like, yeah, I got Indian in my family. They'd be like, oh, okay, that's nice. Me too. So then why are you celebrating? What do you mean? You don't get it. You don't get it. This is a holiday that's talking about the massacre of your people. If you really got Indian in you, what are you talking about? Be mad as hell. So as opposed to loving to hear that type of discourse, what should you do? Read that again.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Because that type of godly discourse is going to build us up. It's going to edify us, right? As opposed to vex us. I never been vexed being around Bishop unless I was getting clowned on. You understand? That's it. But even then, it's not the type of vexation that you experience whenever you hear some BS being talked about on the job or when you with your family members. It's not the same at all. You love hearing that discourse, even though sometimes that discourse might be directed straight at you and it might sting. It still is there to build you up. And it's godly is what it is. Come on.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee. Read.
And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Uh-huh.
Let thy mind be upon the ordinance of the Lord.
You see that? You see what it all comes back around to? Let your mind be on the ordinances of the Lord. Come on.
And meditate continually in his
Just like we should be
commandments.
reading daily, we should be meditating continually.
That's
In what?
right.
In his commandments.
In the deep stuff.
In his commandments.
In the parables of wisdom.
In his commandments.
In the commandments. You see? Even the Bible is confirming the fact that we don't need to go all over the place trying to be deep. We need to learn God's commandments. Who know all God's commandments? You see? My man, you raise your hand? You sure? You sure about that? Yeah, you. You raise your hand. You want to keep it raised? I'm going to ask you a question to prove it. You sure you want to do this? You want to do this? Okay, all right. I'm going to say. Good luck. If we think that, we deceiving ourselves. I'm about to trip you up with a commandment. All right? So, finish that off.
He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire.
And give you wisdom at your own desire. But how do you desire it? How do you show forth that desire? You read. You meditate. You be around the leaders, the elders. Acquaint yourself with the wisdom of those that came before you. That's how you do that thing. All right? So now, let's get some examples. I want to get some examples of bad learning, okay? When we see people that didn't really apply what they were supposed to, or they learning from bad examples. Give me Matthew chapter 23. This is what you do not want to do or be in the Bible, in this walk. Matthew 23 and verse 15.
Book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte.
So the scribes and the Pharisees, they would go all over the globe just to convert somebody. But the Bible, Christ called them hypocrites. Come on.
And when he is made,
And when you convert those people that are learning from you, read.
you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself.
So because they learned incorrectly, because they learned evil instead of good, because they learned how to be hypocrites instead of being sincere, they ended up being twice as bad as the scribes and the Pharisees. And that compounds, right? So once they learn, they're going to teach what they learn, and so on and so forth. So you're just going to have continually worse and worse and worse generations of those that were taught incorrectly. That goes back into that investment. You are investing into evil, that's what you're going to get, okay? Trash in, trash out. Who ever heard that phrase before? Trash in, trash out. It's coding language, right? It's about coding and stuff like that, right? All right. Nobody knows except my sister over there. All praises. 1 Kings 12. Let's get another bad example. We're going to get a couple more. A couple bad examples of the results of poor learning. All right? 1 Kings chapter 12, we're going to read 1 through 8.
Book of 1 Kings, chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king.
All right, so this is Rehoboam, the son of who? The son of Solomon. All right, we'll make sure everybody paying attention now. It's the son of Solomon. What did Solomon say about his son that we read earlier? Who was paying attention? I want somebody with the microphone. Who was paying attention to what we read about what Solomon said about his son earlier? Anybody remember? All right, hold this. We're going to get it just for the sake of time. I'm going to read it. Okay? Y'all remember this now. Get Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 12. It says, and I turn myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly, for what can the man do that cometh after the king? Remember we read this earlier. He was talking about his son. after we read this, we're going to read why he said that about his son. All right? Read that again. Chapter 12, verse 1.
Come on. 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king.
Come on.
And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was not in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt.
Come on.
That they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
Come on.
And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And the king Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do you advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever.
So the old men who were Solomon's counselors told him to do a particular thing. But what did he do? Come on.
But he forsook the counsel of the old men.
He forsook the counsel of the old men. Read.
Which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
So instead of listening to wise counsel like we read about that we should do in Sirach, right? We read here that Rehoboam refused to do that thing. So what did he do instead? Or why did he? I'm not what he do instead. We already know what happened. All right? Who does not know the history of the split of the kingdoms? Okay, because these are basics. It's a basic to understand the whole New Testament. The whole New Testament, the understanding is predicated upon understanding this right here. Everybody understand that, right? Okay. Why Rehoboam did that? Sirach chapter 47 and verse 13.
Book of Sirach, chapter 47 and verse 13.
Come on.
Solomon reigned in a peaceable time and was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name and prepare his sanctuary forever.
All right, jump to verse 19 because we running short on time. Come on.
Verse 19, Thou didst bow thy loins unto women.
So this was part of Solomon's folly, which resulted in something else. Come on.
By thy body thou wast brought into subjection.
Into subjection unto these other women. Come on, those strangers. Read.
Thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy seed.
He polluted his seed, his children after him. Come on.
So that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and was grieved for thy folly.
Grieved for thy folly, because he's seen something in his children, and especially the child who would come to reign after him. Come on.
So that kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom.
And out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom. We're going to go into that as well. Come on.
But the Lord will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his works perish. Neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect, and the seed of him that loveth him he will not take away. Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David.
Read.
Thus rested Solomon with his fathers.
Rested Solomon with his fathers. Keep on.
And of his seed he left behind him Rehoboam.
Rehoboam. Read.
Even the foolishness of the people.
Wait a minute. So it says Rehoboam was the foolishness of the people. Why? Because he did not learn. He did not learn well. And because he did not learn well, he was a fool. Y'all understand this, right? Okay. So I got a book, because the Lord created a perfect storm when it came to this thing right here. The Lord created a perfect storm with this thing right here. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Because not only was Rehoboam foolish, but so was his opponent, Jeroboam. Zoom in on that real quick. Read that title for the people, please.
History of the Jews. History of the Jews by Heinrich Graetz.
Yeah. That guy. Next, come on.
Solomon's brilliant rule, however, became the source of a serious division between the tribes,
We just read about that in Sirach. Come on.
which he had unavailingly striven to consolidate into one
Indissoluble.
indissoluble whole.
The same thing as indivisible. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding that the temple formed a bond of union for the whole people, and that Solomon tried to abolish the tribal isolation which prevailed. He succeeded only in the case of Benjamin, which became more closely united with Judah.
So there was always a problem between the northern and southern kingdom is basically what he's talking about. Come on.
This was owing to the fact that the temple was built on Benjamite territory, and consequently several Benjamite families settled in the capital. Probably Solomon also preferred the tribe of Benjamin and his own ancestral tribe to the other tribes.
All right, so Benjamin and Judah been rocking out for a long time. Shout out to Benji. Come on.
The mutual dislike of the houses of Israel and Judah, or the northern and southern tribes, had not ceased. Among the northern tribes, a deep sense of discontent prevailed against Solomon, despite the prosperity to which he had raised them. They resented the pressure put upon them to forward regular supplies for the court, and to perform compulsory service in the erection of public buildings.
All right, scroll up. Go ahead.
Their discontent was not expressed aloud, but it needed only an occasion for it to vent itself. Wise as Solomon was, he had not sufficient foresight to perceive that his faults were sure to weaken the future security of the state.
You see that? He says his faults were sure to weaken the future security of the state. That's what we just read in Sirach. Come on.
Amongst the officials whom Solomon employed to supervise the buildings was an Ephraimite who was clever, courageous, and ambitious. This was Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, from the town of Zerata or Zarathan, or the other side of the Jordan. He was the son of a widow.
This is the part I want. He was the son of a widow. Read.
Thus free from paternal restraint.
He was free from paternal restraint, meaning his daddy was not in the picture, which shows how important you fathers are to be able to teach these men under you. Read on.
That's right.
He could follow out his own impulses uncontrolled.
And that is what fathers are there to do, to keep you from your own wicked impulses. Okay? I know I got to smack my son upside the head all the time. Pow! Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Okay? I know you want to jump off the couch head first. Stop it. Stop it. All right? I know you want to swing the sword and fight with your sister, but please, for the love of God, stop doing that, right? Right, Amari? Yeah, that's a nervous laugh. See? See? That's what a father is there for. That's what a father is there for.
Right.
So drop that. We got some more to go. Okay? So Rehoboam and Jeroboam both did not have the proper instruction of learning, and that was the perfect storm to create the result of the destruction of the unity between the kingdoms. You see that? See how important that is? History of Susanna, verse 5. Not chapter 5, but verse 5. History of Susanna. We're going to jump around in here a little bit. And like I said, I'm getting tight on time. All right. I think I'm going to make it, though. Come on.
Look at history of Susanna, 1 verse 5.
Come on.
The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of. That wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people.
So it says there were wicked judges who seemed to govern the people. Why? Read.
These kept much at Jehoiakim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven nor remember just judgment.
So when they had that devil on them, the spirit was not on them. What did they forget? They forgot about the fundamentals. Judgment. Because remember, we read about judgment being fundamental earlier. God's law, statutes, and commandments. Because the commandment would have told you, that's another man's wife. You lusted over her. Stop that. Read.
And albeit they both were wounded with her love.
They were wounded with her love. Sick. Weak in the knees. Come on.
Yet durst not one show another his grief.
They were trying to hide it from each other. Come on.
For they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to have to do with her.
Uh-huh.
Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her.
Come on.
And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time.
So they said, let us go home, for it is dinner time. All right. We're going to finish. Y'all should finish that story the rest on your own, but we're going to jump to verse 51. Jump to verse 51. We're going to see what ended up happening. Come on. All right. So they hatched a plan to try and sleep with her. Okay, if y'all have not read this, but this is the conclusion of this. Come on, read.
Verse 51, then said Daniel unto them, put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them.
Yep.
So when they put asunder one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness.
He said, you that are waxing old in wickedness. Meaning what? They've been practicing the wrong thing. They've been practicing evil instead of being sincere, practicing the commandments, applying those commandments. Read.
Now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light.
You've done this before. Read.
For thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free.
Come on.
Albeit the Lord saith, the innocent and righteous shalt thou not slay.
And you are not supposed to slay the innocent and the righteous. But guess what? They were rejecting the basics, the fundamentals, and that's how an evil spirit got put on them. Jump to verse 57.
Verse 57, thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear companied with you.
So he's proving what he's saying. You've done this before. Your sins of old are being revealed. He said, thus have you dealt with the daughters of Israel. Read.
But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness.
But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness. So shout out to Southern Kingdom. All right. We did not abide by the wickedness of these two evil men. Okay. Because their evil had been revealed by Daniel, but he was saying that they had been doing this for a while. Meaning what? Some people going to get away with the evil, with not applying the basics, with not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but the Lord is going to reveal time. Okay? The Lord will reveal everything in his season. Let's get some good examples real quick before we start to wind it on down. Daniel chapter 1 and verse 4. Let's see some examples of a good representation of what it means to learn. Okay? Let's see.
Book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 4. Come on. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom.
They were skillful in all wisdom, read.
And cunning in knowledge.
And cunning in knowledge.
And understanding in science.
And understanding science. Come on.
And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans.
All right, jump to verse 17. Come on.
Verse 17, as for these four children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom.
Knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, read.
And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams.
And Daniel had another level of understanding and wisdom. Why? Because they applied God's commandments. Okay,
That's
when you
right.
read about them. Get 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 18. Let's get an example real quick. Because remember, said earlier when we read in Proverbs 22 and 16, he said, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Read.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
So they were trying to force this old man named Eleazar to eat swine's flesh. Come on.
But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment.
They spit it out. Come on.
And it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things, as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted.
Right, come on.
But they that had the charge of that wicked feast for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision,
Go ahead.
such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
So Eleazar, when he refused the pork, they said, you know what? Take this over here. Let me slide you some turkey. Let me slide you some lamb or beef, right? Eat that and pretend that it's unlawful food so that you can have your life spared. But we just want to show an example to these other brothers over here so they can follow you. Come on.
That in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor.
Read.
But he began to consider discreetly, and as become his age and the excellency of his ancient years.
And he decided to reflect before he told them what his response was going to be. He said, what? Read.
And the honor of his great head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child.
You see that? It says that he considered his most honest education from a child. His most honest education to do what? To keep God's commandments and to reject everything else. Come on.
Or rather, the holy law made and given by God.
You see that? That's the proof right there. He said, or rather, the holy law made and given by God.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave.
I'd rather die than to break God's commandments.
That's
That's a good example of what learning can give to you, right? That steadfastness, that boldness, that confidence that we talked about earlier. That's what will be given to you if you are taught correctly and if you learn correctly. Sirach chapter 33 and verse 17. Okay? Because this goes back to something I said earlier. We're going to close it out with these scriptures right here. Come on.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself only.
So we don't labor to learn for ourselves only. Come on.
But for all them that seek learning.
But for all of our people that seek learning. Eleazar understood that. Paul understood that. Christ understood that. We need to understand that because we set the tone for those that come after us through our example. Give me 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 14.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 14. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned.
Your honest education, like Eleazar said. Stick to that. Stick to the basics. Stick to the fundamentals. Come on.
And has been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them.
You know that you're being taught by men of the Lord. Why? Because you see it in the fruits of what's coming from these men, from the bishops and deacons and captains. You understand? Come on.
And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures.
Come on.
Which are able to make thee wise.
And not only that, you are going to be able to be wise as a result of that education, that honest education. Come on.
Wise unto salvation.
And you will be saved through your honest education. Come on.
Which through faith, which is in Christ Jesus.
Which is in Christ Jesus. Sirach chapter 51 and verse 23.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 51 and verse 23. Draw near unto me, ye unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning.
That's what we are all commanded to do. We came into this thing unlearned.
Right.
Now we have to come into the house of learning right here with Israel United in Christ. Come on.
Wherefore are ye slow? And what say ye of these things? Seeing your souls are very thirsty.
We are thirsty. Our soul thirsts for this word. It wants to be fed. It wants to be taught. It wants to understand. It wants to be wise.
That's
Read.
right.
I opened my mouth and said, buy here for yourselves without money.
We not charging you for this truth, but you should buy of it without money. Come on.
Put your neck under the yoke and let your soul receive instruction.
That yoke is coming under the tutelage of those that came before you. Understand that they have things to teach you, and you should be ready and willing at all times to learn it and to apply it. Come on.
She is hard at hand to find. Behold with your eyes how that I have had.
Wait. Read verse 26 again. I'm sorry. Read.
Put your neck under the yoke and let your soul receive instruction.
Let your soul receive instruction. Read.
She is hard at hand to find.
She is hard at hand to find. It's hard to get the wisdom that we have to obtain in this truth. It's not easy, but it's easy to be deep in the world. It's easy to think that you got some type of wisdom out there. To show forth godly wisdom up in here, it's a hard thing to do. Otherwise, everybody would do it. Come on.
That's right.
Behold with your eyes how that I have had but little labor, and have gotten unto me much rest. Get learning with great sum of money.
That goes back to that spiritual bank account that we talked about at the very beginning of class and throughout. Come on.
And get much gold by her.
That gold goes into your wisdom, the fruits of your labor. Come on.
Let your soul rejoice in his mercy, and be not ashamed of his praise. Work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward.
And in your time, your reward for your learning will become evident to everybody. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. We're going to close it out right here.
This is the book of Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip.
So we should give the more earnest things to the things that we learning in here and not let them slip. Don't fall back, don't backslide, don't go away from what you're learning in here. Because what you are learning in here is designed to help get you the kingdom of heaven, but only if you are learning correctly. Everybody understand? All praises to the Most High. With that, we say shalom. Most High in Christ bless y'all. Happy Sabbath, Israel. And we appreciate you. All praise to the Most High.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.